We start things off from the New York Post. Big news day, ladies and gentlemen, so be prepared for the news. And, of course, all of you are astute. You are aware, so you know exactly where we're going and what we're talking about. That's why you're part of the BuzWeaver channel, and I do appreciate it. NBC News reporter Kristen Welker, 6-word claim about California elections that caused Trump to storm off. The election day was June the 2nd. It's been 6 days, and they're still counting votes. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Despite the fact of the outcome that they had on election day, California has it designed, knowing full well that Democrats outnumber Republicans 2-1. We'll get onto that here in a minute, but let's not bury the lead here. We have the reporter Kristen Welker, 6-word claim about California elections that caused Trump to storm off. That's right. An NBC News reporter's comments about California elections and the 2020 presidential race caused President Trump to storm out of the interview Sunday. Kristen Welker sparred with the commander-in-chief over his claims the state's voting was rigged as the counting continues and Democratic candidates suddenly enjoy a late stream of votes from mail-in ballots. Now, this is extraordinary, is it not? Because, of course, the media is always going to be badgering Trump, as we already know here on the BuzWeaver channel, because you guys are astute and shrewd, that the media is just an extension of the Democrat Party. So, of course, they're going to be sparring with the president because this is how they earn their blue points. That's how they vote in California, Welker replied after Trump points to the state's still unfinished ballot counts as proof that something nefarious was happening. Now, I consulted my crack staff, as you guys know also as ChatGPT. So, the short answer is California did not pass any single law that keeps counting forever. The extended counting period is the result of several election laws working together. Of course, they created these laws because they know that the Democrats outnumber Republicans 2-1. The biggest law. California allows mail-in ballots to be counted after Election Day if the ballot's postmarked on or before Election Day. It arrives within 7 days after Election Day. This is probably the rule that most people are referring to when they say California count ballots after Election Day. Another major factor, California gives votes time to fix problems with the ballot signature. Ladies and gentlemen, who are we kidding? Right? Who are we kidding? If the signatures is missing or doesn't match election, voters can cure the ballots and have it counted later. In 2026, votes had up to 22 days after Election Day to resolve certain signature issues. This is extraordinary. This is just extraordinary to watch in broad daylight, ladies and gentlemen, is it not? So we have here from Eric Doherty the actual interview. So we're going to take a little bit of a listen to it.
Evidence than ever presented.
Let's talk
your
about
elections in this country. We're like a third world country. Your elections are crooked, and you're crooked, and Meet the Press is crooked, and so is ABC and CBS and CNN.
But Mr. President,
you're one-sided crooked networks. All right, let's call it quits because I've had enough. Thank you, darling. Have a good time.
Mr. President, let's please. I traveled all the way to Wisconsin.
I've sat in the rain with you.
I know.
I've sat in the rain with you for an hour, on and off in the rain, and I've given you enough time. You ought to straighten out your press because you know what?
Mr. President,
a country can never be great with a dishonest
Listen,
press.
we traveled all the way to Wisconsin for this interview.
And there you have it. There it is right there. And this is not anything unusual to us here on the BuzWeaver channel, of course. And then Trump blasts crooked California elections as Spencer Pratt falls into third place in an L.A. primary. This is, of course, and I say this by design, right? And that's why I wanted you to see the actual rules themselves from our crack staff there, ChatGPT, because I made a comment about it on TikTok about how California knows that Democrats outnumber Republicans 2-1, and they actually gave me a community warning. So this is almost this is just so wild to watch in real time. But of course, we also have this: election officials brace for Supreme Court ruling on mail-in ballot deadlines, because there's just so much going on. And of course, you have ballot harvesting, where designated individuals can go out and collect ballots for voters, and we saw this also back in 2016 and 2020. Or 2016 through or up to 2020, where they're going to nursing homes and things like this to go and collect ballots or ballot harvesting. And so it's interesting to see that the Supreme Court is going to rule on this. And I have this right here from Fox News.
The interesting thing is that there is a Supreme Court case pending right now. The court's already heard it. We're waiting at this end of the term in June. We get all of these last decisions, the big ones. This one came out of Mississippi, and it deals with a state law that says how long you can count ballots after Election Day, if they're postmarked, what the grace period is there. So I can't wait. We're going to get opinions next Thursday. Maybe that's in the pile, but it's certainly something that could, you know, be a big resounding ripple effect across the country based on what they decide in Mississippi.
Yeah, you know, this all changed during COVID. And California changed, like they were on steroids, the way they were changing their election laws in 2001, just extending the grace period that they were giving so many people. And it's led to this. And, you know, Shannon, it's flown under the radar, because we've been focused on national elections 2 years ago and the midterms 2 years before that. But California, like determining the balance of power in the House, we've been waiting on California for 4 years now. And yet again, we've got this one. Meanwhile, in the Senate.
So there you have it. So changes could be possibly coming on this, and it does need to be ruled on, because this is just extraordinary. It's absolutely ridiculous. We see here Spencer Pratt falls to third place behind Nathia Raman in L.A. mayoral race. It's absolutely extraordinary, is it not? And as we see here, Nathia Rama also has only 21,000 votes to catch up to Spencer Pratt in the mayoral race. This is from the other day, June the 6th, the following day. And then, of course, they then started the count. And then, of course, here we have from In Wokeness, election night batches in Los Angeles. You see Karen Bass had 38%, Spencer Pratt 28%, and Nathia Rama 20%. New batch 5 days after the election. Now Nathia Raman has 40%, Karen Bass has 33%, and Spencer Pratt is down to 18%. I mean, we're watching this happen in real time, in daylight. It's absolutely extraordinary, is it not? And then we have this from Sean here. It says, so California has been found to have hospice fraud, SNAP fraud, homeless shelter fraud, healthcare, Medicare fraud, immigration fraud, and many other forms of fraud, but no vote fraud at all. No questioning, no concerns about what's actually happening in California, because, of course, it's all valid. And then, of course, we have In Wokeness. Time to get election results here. Brazil, France, India, Germany, Argentina. 37 days for California to count 10 million votes. It's absolutely incredible, is it not, ladies and gentlemen? Let me know down in the comments how many of you are from California or voted in California, mail-in ballots, because we're seeing this. And we've talked about this here on the channel for many, a lot of times we have talked about this. And, but it is extraordinary. This is going to be a continuing contentious point that they're going to badger Trump about. Of course, this is one of their favorite things to do, is to badger and antagonize the president. And, of course, he ended up walking out. And this was a big deal that was going on the internet, you know, going viral. Not to mention what's going on viral with the counts there in California. And going back here, if you guys wanted to read the rest of that, you can just pause the video here and read the additional information here on how California does their elections. But to me, it's just shameful how they do these things, to be totally honest with you. And the outcome of this particular interview was pretty obvious that he was there to be badgered, which is what the media does. But nonetheless, guys, I want to thank all of you across New Tech, that's BitChute, Rumble, and Odyssey, for your guys' continued support. Below this video, you can find the various social media links that I belong to. And, of course, if you order frequently from Amazon or a Prime member, you can order safely down below there with my landing page link. It helps out the channel. And, of course, if you use a virtual private network, or I use a virtual private network if you're talking about privacy online. My favorite is Trust Zone down there as well. But, of course, you help out the channel as easily as the liking, comments, and subscribing, which is totally and completely appreciated here on the BuzWeaver channel. And I'll see all you guys in the next video.